Education Reform Now, represented tonight by Van Scholes, who will be making some closing remarks. And the 6 other partners, all of whom are here tonight and have some information that's available in the back of the room, that include A+ Denver, the Colorado Children's Campaign, the Colorado League of Charter Schools, Democrats for Education Reform Colorado, the Denver Public Schools Foundation, and Stand for Children Colorado, as well as our media partners, Fox 31 and Rocky Mountain PBS. We wanted to acknowledge that only 6 of the 10 candidates are here tonight, and we regret that not all voices could be heard. But in the interest of keeping the discussion to a reasonable time frame, we invited the leading candidates in terms of fundraising as of the January reports. Some of the other candidates are here tonight as well. Before we start the discussion, I just want to briefly share some information about Get Smart Schools and why we wanted to host this event tonight. Get Smart Schools is a group of educators, policymakers, and business leaders who share a common belief that all children, regardless of the circumstances into which they are born, all children deserve a free, high-quality public education that prepares them for success in college and beyond. And unfortunately, today, we cannot promise that all children in this state or in this city will have that opportunity. In Denver today, almost half of our students fail to graduate from high school on time. And the best indicator of whether a student is college-bound is the zip code into which he or she is born. We believe that is unacceptable for our great city. As an organization, Get Smart Schools also believes that leadership matters. Much of our work is focused on training and supporting school principals to be transformative leaders. We have supported 23 individuals on the path to school leadership, and they are doing some extraordinary things in the schools that they are launching and leading. But leadership matters not just at the principal level, but at every level. Leadership matters in the classroom, where a great teacher can make all of the difference. And leadership matters at the district level, where the systems that are created can either support or hinder the creation of great schools. And leadership certainly matters at the city level. Denver's next mayor will decide whether improving our education system is a priority for the city or not. He or she will decide if we are going to invest in our schools or not. He or she will engage other civic and business leaders in this issue or not. We believe it is critical that the next mayor of Denver be a true leader in education. And that's why we are thrilled to be able to hear directly from 6 of the candidates tonight. So to get things started, I'm pleased to introduce our 2 moderators who will explain the format of tonight's event and will then introduce the candidates. Please welcome Eli Stokols, political reporter for KDVR Fox 31 and KWGN TV, and Cynthia Hessin, Rocky Mountain PBS executive producer.
I'm just going to explain how this night, the next 75 or 80 minutes are going to go here. We're going to start with some opening remarks from each candidate. We'll do that alphabetically. So Carol, that'll be you start. From there, we're going to get into some candidate-specific questions. There's one question that is specifically going to be asked of each of you, and those questions, the sponsors came up with those based on some of the responses that you made on the survey that the reform groups asked you to fill out. The full survey results, you can still look at all of that. That's online at kdvr.com. Shameless plug for our website. And the full survey is there. It's very easy to understand. We're going to do a couple of candidate-specific questions to start. We'll get into a quick rapid-fire round, some yes/no questions. We'll go back to finish up the long-form candidate-specific questions. And then we're going to get to some questions from the audience. And we're going to end with one question for all 6 of you to answer. There'll be some signs down here, so if you're curious, we're a little tight on time, so we want to move. We don't want to cut off the debate, but we want the thing to move along pretty good. So if you see down here, the green, yellow, and red signs, you'll know when to keep talking and when to stop. And obviously, the more time we have at the end for a free-flowing discussion, the more we'll get into that. So with that, we'll start the opening statements from the candidates, and we'll start with Carol Boigon.
Hi, everybody. I was hoping to walk through the room to see if there were other East High parent alums here, but I want you to know I love being in this space, and I'm so glad you chose it. My children went to East. I spent 8 years here as an East High parent. I had a theater kid, so a lot of time on this stage and in the black box, and we have our bricks outside, and I had a kid on the constitutional team and a debater, and this is just a wonderful place, and it's still a wonderful place. And parents still love to be here. Still another wonderful principal, John Youngquist. I don't know if John's in the audience tonight. Yay, John. And Jessica Pearson, who coordinates all the A+ parents and did all the evaluation on summer scholars. And I mean, this is really home, so thank you. And my kids were Jared and Hannah. Jared 90, Hannah 94. So go find our bricks. I want to talk with you about a couple of things because this is a strange place for me to be. My background, I'm a reading specialist by training, University of Michigan, taught in Washington, D.C. in a residential treatment center, taught in Detroit, taught in Inkster, Michigan with Annelle Lewis's mom. Wow. Yes, yes. All those years ago. When we moved out here, we sought this neighborhood and these schools because my husband had worked on the Detroit school case. And here we were in the home of the Keys neighborhood and the Keys case, and our children went through Park Hills, Miami, and East. And we are committed. When I came to Denver, other young mothers in the neighborhood took me out for coffee. It wasn't fancy coffee then. And they said, Carol, here's how we do urban education in this neighborhood. You are in the building. All of us. We take a day or two every day, every week, and we are in the building. We do whatever it takes to support the teachers, to make the halls safe, to make the classrooms work well. And that's how we do it. On the labor of unemployed women, we doubled the adults in the building. And we did it in every single school in this neighborhood. All of us. And they didn't let you move in if you didn't commit to it. They knocked on your door day one, pie and school. And that's how we did things. I am a believer in the role of public education in a very deep way. And I believe in the capacity of all children to learn. And it breaks my heart that good people have landed on opposite sides of a fight that is not really, in my mind, addressing the problem we're struggling with. The problem, as I define it, is how do we educate children whose parents cannot support their education? And I don't think the answer is governance, and I know the answer is not curriculum, though those are all nice and interesting things to discuss. The answer is teaching and learning. The answer is the skills and knowledge and tools of the specialists that have gotten so much better since I was trained 35, maybe 40 years ago.
Can I ask you to wrap up? We didn't say at the beginning that we'd like the opening statements to be 2 minutes.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry.
I will tell you that I think there is an answer. It's simple, that we can stop fighting with each other, and then we can answer what I believe are really discretionary questions. How many schools of special interest? How much centralization or decentralization? Fine. But we must bring the skills and tools of the specialist into the classroom to help kids who need help, child by child, and we can do this. Thank you.
Our timekeeper is here, and she will let me know when you have 30 seconds. We'd like to keep it as close to 2 minutes as we can, and then this is my
You got 2. Good evening, Denver. I am Michael. Good evening, Denver. I am Michael Hancock, candidate for mayor, and it's absolutely a pleasure to be here tonight. I've been looking forward to this conversation. I am a product of Denver Public Schools. I grew up just west of this school. Graduate of Manual High School, woo-woo, go Thunderbolts. I was part of the East Manual Complex, very proud of taking classes here at East, and I have a sophomore here right now. So I'm proud of this institution. I grew up in this city, 10th of 10 children, very challenged background, poor as heck growing up in Denver. This heat would have been a blessing in December right now. But I'll tell you that we got through it, through sticking together, hard work, and thank God for Denver Public Schools and Denver Parks and Recreation, because they were our safe haven. Let me just tell you that my education plan, my children's education plan, which was released today, and I invite you to HancockForDenver.com to look at our plan, is far-reaching with three guiding principles: that every child should be ready for school, every child ready for college, and every child ready for a career, period, in Denver, Colorado. There are 3 action plans that I plan to implement to address these issues, or these guiding principles as mayor. One is an early childhood education, or early childhood initiative. This is where we address the other side of that school door, that every child has access to a healthy nutrition, every child has access to health care, and every child has access to child care. Second, I will convene business community, schools, colleges and universities, and the city of Denver to develop the Denver Compact. That's where we're going to make a contractual obligation to bring our resources to the table to address quality education and quality of life for every child in Denver. And we're also going to create a scorecard or report card to measure how we're doing. And we're going to commit ourselves to changing the lives of every child in Denver. Number 3, I think it's time that we take advantage of that 125-acre, 40,000 student campus just west of us. It's time to engage them in the quality of life of this great city of ours, into the business through internships and practicums, and making sure they help us move this city forward. It's a tremendous economic asset, tremendous educational asset, and I'm looking forward to activating. My name is Michael Hancock. I'm looking forward to this quality conversation about education and children in our city, and I look forward to your questions. Thank you for having me.
I'm Doug Linkhart, and I've spent my whole life in schools. My parents were teachers. In Denver, I was a neighborhood leader the first time that I moved here in 1981. I got engaged in the community, served on committees related to Denver Public Schools, was in the schools, planting trees around schools with Denver Digs Trees, being an advisor to the school board. Became a state legislator in 1994, and as a state legislator in the House for 2 years and in the Senate for 8 years, sponsored bills to improve the school-to-career programs, to give kids a pathway to a job, to enact a child care tax credit that supports not just kids in child care, but also those in after-school programs, summer programs. I gave out about 5,000 awards to kids like those at East. As a parent, I've got 3 kids who have gone through 9 different schools in DPS. I've still got 2 here at East. I think my junior can beat up your sophomore, but we'll talk about that later. Have been an active parent working with the schools. But most importantly, as a council member at large, the first thing I did coming into office in 2003 was to start meeting with the school board to say, how can we collaborate? Because we want to be a partner with you. We want to be a partner in the success of the young people of Denver. How can we get more after-school programs, more summer programs for these kids, make sure that every kid gets preschool before they come here? We work together to put Preschool Matters on the ballot, and have worked continually with the school board to make sure that the schools reach out to the community whenever there are discussions about changing schools. I publish a youth activities guide every year, 85,000 copies that go to all kids, bilingual information on school activities during the summer and after school. There is no better investment than investing in our kids, and that's what my campaign is about. It's not time to shrink into a corner and close down institutions. It's time to reach out and invest in our future. It's good to be with you tonight.
Well, good afternoon. My name is James Mejia, and I'd like to serve as your next mayor. And let me tell you why. We're in some difficult economic times right now, and I believe it's my experience in city government and in nonprofit that can help lead us out of those difficult times. And I also believe it's a track record of collaboration, because it's going to take all of us to solve this issue with regard to education. It's going to take all of us on the issue of putting Denverites back to work and keeping Denverites in their homes to stem the foreclosures. But when we talk about balancing the budget,